Hello and welcome everybody. It's a pleasure for us to participate in this AnyLogic user experience meeting, and we'll try to give you highlights of what AnyLogic 9 will look like, and also we'll talk about a little bit about the product roadmap. But we have three presenters today. So it's Nikolay Churkov, AnyLogic Principal Software Engineer, and he will be talking about the current development of AnyLogic 8 libraries and some AnyLogic 9 highlights as well. And also we have Alexander here, who is the head of AnyLogic Cloud development. So Alexander will share with you our plans on how we're going to develop further our AnyLogic Cloud service. And now I say I can share my screen, so I'll start sharing. So this is our topics today. So we'll talk a little bit about the AnyLogic company, our product, just in case some of you are not very much familiar with who we are and what we do. Then there'll be a high-level view of AnyLogic roadmap, and then we'll talk about vertical solution development that have been going on for years, and it never stopped, and will continue regardless of any AnyLogic version, be it 9 or 8. Then the cloud. Then we'll talk a little bit about our strategic activity, which is applied artificial intelligence and how simulation links with AI. And then the main part of this presentation will be obviously AnyLogic 9 highlights. All right, for you guys who are not that much familiar with AnyLogic, we have what we call ecosystem of products. So we have a model development environment and a simulation engine, which is a flexible platform for building vertical solutions. And the engine and the model development environment pretty much cross-domain. It's horizontal. On top of that, we have different libraries like material handling, fluids, pedestrian, rail, road traffic, and the general-purpose process modeling library. And what you see on the screen right now is actually what is called the current AnyLogic 8 product. Now, on top of that, we recently launched a cloud-based execution environment for AnyLogic models. And it is already running. It has several thousands of models contributed by AnyLogic user community. Apart from that, we have recently launched a different product, which is AnyLogistics, and AnyLogistics is a supply chain design and optimization software. So this is pretty much our product ecosystem. And then I would like to share with you some facts about AnyLogic, some facts we're really proud of, and but I'll try to be really fast. First of all, AnyLogic is the product with the biggest user community in the world. This slide just shows that last year Winterstem the main simulation event last year worldwide. 36% of models presented in WinterSim were built with AnyLogic software, and that was last year. And also, if you go to LinkedIn and if you count like the simulation user community, then you'll see that 32% of simulation software users are with AnyLogic. And obviously, we are very proud of AnyLogic users. And as you can see in this slide, 40% of Fortune top 100 companies are using AnyLogic. And we're really happy to see these names here. And also 75 out of top 100 universities in the world teach and carry out research using AnyLogic products, which is obviously very great, and we're really proud of that. Now to our main topic, which is AnyLogic roadmap. AnyLogic development is going on in 3 threads. The first thread, which is this in this slide is called AnyLogic 8. It is about development of vertical solutions. It's like improving our material handling capabilities, pedestrian simulation, road traffic, etc., etc. And the current product, the product is now selling. It's AnyLogic 8, and the next release, 8.7, is going to happen in November this year. Then the next thread is AnyLogic Cloud. And as I said, Alexander is taking care of AnyLogic Cloud development. AnyLogic Cloud is continuously improving, and we're adding features. We're adding link to artificial intelligence here as well. We're adding more enterprise features for AnyLogic Private Cloud, but we'll talk about that a little bit later in details. And then the third thread, which is not yet visible to our users, but has been in intensive development for a couple of years already. It's AnyLogic 9. And the next thing that'll happen with AnyLogic 9, I'd say it'll be the first public event with 9. It will be prototype available for limited external testing. It's going to happen in December this year. After that, we will merge AnyLogic 8 into AnyLogic 9, and also AnyLogic 9 will include some features of the AnyLogic Cloud, but that we'll talk about that later in details. All right, so now I'm going to ask Nikolay to talk about the current development of vertical solutions. It's not just AnyLogic 8. This is something that will then be absorbed by version 9. So Nikolay, please.
Thank you, Andrei. Hello, everybody. Our current state of AnyLogic 8, so we have a released version 8.6 in the middle of this year. And for those of you who haven't yet downloaded it, you can just go to our website or simply press update in your existing AnyLogic installation and get this new version. So we here are concentrating on our libraries, our solutions for vertical modeling, and so here are several enhancements on our different libraries. And then we are currently in an active phase of testing of AnyLogic 8.7. This release is planned about the month. So here we have features for manufacturing, modeling, material handling, like grains, pedestrian library. Such improvements are highly requested in these tough times, like social distancing and restricted areas, and also different improvements in other libraries, as well as such core features as like automatic conversion and import of your existing CAD files into a space markup in the AnyLogic. And also we will talk about something about artificial intelligence and reinforcement learning. This will be on the next slides. And we will continue all this development regarding our vertical solutions, our libraries in the future versions, and all these libraries, this core engine part will come into the future AnyLogic 9. So we have here new rack systems, improvements in movement of your equipment, different types of equipment, interaction between several libraries like pedestrian and material handling, and improvements in all our other libraries like road traffic, rail libraries. And that's it. And so now let's talk about AnyLogic Cloud.
Thank you, Nikolay. So the next part in AnyLogic development is the cloud thread, and I will ask Alexander to tell about what's happening in the cloud, what has been released, and what will be released in the nearest future, and then further on.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrei. So as Andrei already mentioned, the AnyLogic Cloud is a web-based solution that is scalable. It is horizontally scalable. It is used for model execution out there in the web. We present it as a software as a service solution, and we also allow our customers to install a private cloud inside their network if they want. So first I want to talk about the things that we have already done in this year. So we had a cloud release 2.1, which introduced the HTTPS support. It introduced a lot of changes and bug fixes, and also had the Python and the Java API clients refactored and remastered. We have a Python client package that can be easily installed using the pip package manager. We worked a lot on the installation process, so it would be comfortable for our customers to install the cloud in their labs. We did a lot of updates to all the third-party libraries that the cloud uses. We introduced the Java native interface for the models running in the cloud, and I think I already mentioned the HTTPS support. Currently, we are working very hard to release the version 2.2. It is currently in the QA testing stage. I hope that it would be released during October. It introduces a brand new administrative interface, which gives our users the control over their cloud installations. It allows users to manage the users, the services, and the node of the cloud, as well as take a look at the cloud services state, all the information regarding the license, evaluation, and maintenance periods. It is also GDPR compliant. This means that it has a message about the cookies being used. Luckily, you can turn this off if you don't need it. It also features an improvement allowing you to download the results of your model runs in the JSON format if you want to integrate your processes to some other analytic solutions. The further development is focused on the enterprise features, such as the LDAP support, allowing people to integrate the cloud with Active Directory or Open LDAP installations, bringing the single sign-on. We will also focus on the reinforcement learning in order to further integrate our processes with the AI. And the feature allowing people to view the runs of their model will be further enhanced, allowing the user to sort and browse all the runs by different categories. We will work further on our installer, allowing the customer to install the cloud on multiple nodes, which is achievable right now, but it still needs some manual interactions. We also want to add roles, group, and permission support. And, well, basically, the enterprise features are coming further and further.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's all. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alexander. So let's go on. So we have one thing before the actual AnyLogic line. This is our AI activity, and I think it's important and really worth talking about. So the background is here that these days AI guys are looking for developing AI that is useful for business applications. And therefore, they're looking for environments to train and test their AI, their learning agents, to behave in business environments. And naturally, simulation, things that we do and things that you guys do, provides such realistic virtual environments where that AI agents can be trained and tested. So we identified that needs, that AI needs simulation a while ago, and AnyLogic actually pioneered linking of AI and business simulation, and we're currently the key player in that sector. So we did and we are doing a lot of things in that direction, and we are partnering with leading companies including Microsoft and Banzai, which Banzai is now part of Microsoft, Pathmind, Element AI, H2O, and PwC, who also do a lot of work in on what they call is applied AI. If we look exactly into how does that maps to technology, we will see the following, and Nikolay will probably explain in details what we do in that direction.
Okay, thank you. So the first step is our upcoming release, AnyLogic 8.7 will contain new type of experiment, reinforcement learning experiment, where you can define the input and output in your model for training your learning agent. So you can observe your model. So this learning platform could observe the model and take some actions with the model and get rewards or something else needed to train this agent. This type of experiment will be available to export it to Microsoft Banzai or in Pathmind platforms.
Yeah, and this is with the next release in November this year, right?
Yeah. So that exporting the model to these platforms could allow faster learning of your AI agent, or some call this as brain. For example, Microsoft Banzai call this agent brain, and using this distributed cloud technologies, the process of learning could be very fast, faster than ever. Another step is integrating AnyLogic and Python programming language. Here we have two libraries. One of them called Pipeline. It's already available on GitHub, and another one is called Alpine. It's currently under the final steps of development and will be available soon. So these libraries allow to the first one allows to call Python code from inside your model. This could be, for example, calling some scientific modules, numeric calculations, or embedding your already trained agent, some AI inside your model to see how it behaves in the model. And another one is about calling your model from outside Python code, for example, embedding your model into some learning cycle. And so this week there will be a webinar. You can catch this QR code to join this webinar on Pipeline Library.
Yeah, and webinar is later this week, right?
Yeah. And in AnyLogic Cloud, as Alexander has already said, there is a Python API already available, and so there will be different features for training your learning agent using AnyLogic Cloud. Let's continue.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Nikolay. So now to AnyLogic 9 highlights. So first of all, one of our main focuses is performance improvement, and we are working hard right now on improving performance everywhere. First of all, the actual model development environments will be capable of really handling very large and huge models in terms of how fast you open the model, how fast goes graphical editing, code generation, compilation, and running cycles. Also, we would like AnyLogic to be very efficient with handling large imported files like CAD drawings, GIS shapefiles, and databases. Then the actual simulation performance, right? So we will be making AnyLogic models capable of handling tens of thousands of, for example, pedestrians in pedestrian modeling. So tasks like modeling evacuation of a stadium with like tens of thousands of people will be possible and efficient in AnyLogic 9. In same direction, we obviously going with the road traffic library. So like in AnyLogic 9, you will be able to simulate, for example, multiple interconnected intersections on micro level. And obviously with our material handling library, we're focusing on very large conveyor and very large storage systems. Last but not least is animation performance. So obviously, as AnyLogic is handles models with like hundreds of thousands of items, be it like agents, products, parts, whatever. So we want to visualize them efficiently. So we're working on that, and also. We feel the demand for bringing into your simulation model very large 3D objects, like, for example, building information models. So we'll be doing that as well. Now, in AnyLogic 9, we want more than one scripting language to be available, and Nikolay will tell more about that.
Yeah, thank you. Python language has become the most popular programming language, and we decided to include its support into AnyLogic. So in AnyLogic 9, there will be choice what language you want to use when building your model. And all the API, all the engine and the libraries will be available when calling either from Java-based model or from Python-based model. And all the such features like syntax highlighting, debug, code completion, etc. will be available for both languages. And so for those of you who are better with Python, there will be a like official way to use it in AnyLogic.
Right. Thanks, Nikolay. Next thing is CAD drawings in GIS. As I already said, we will be able to import large BIM models, 3D, including 3D models, of course, into AnyLogic. And also, there'll be a number of features on the GIS side. For example, going into third dimension, including altitude information into GIS, including 3D tiles, improving search, including dynamic information providers, for example, like current traffic conditions. You will be able to use them in your models, and also in some geographical locations, AnyLogic users would like to use a custom search and custom route providers. For example, in China, where normal providers don't work correctly. So we'll be taking care of that as well. Now. Moving forward, AnyLogic 9 will have a completely new user interface. So it's whole new development. First of all, it will be a modern web UI. So you will be able to edit, to create and edit and debug models using just your browser, with nothing installed on the modeler's computer. All these a number of features with the graphical editors, a number of things that are completely new, like at the bottom screenshot here is what we call zoom out view. It's a view on the structure and dependencies and interconnection of all agent types that you have in your model. We will be changing the layouts of properties. We will be like having some properties in the upper toolbar. We will have some in-place properties, etc., etc. And just to give you an idea of the one little improvement that we're making, I'll run this animated GIF. So here, somebody is editing a pedestrian, a layout for a pedestrian model. This is probably an airport terminal with, the goal of the model right now is to put together the walls outline. And as you can see, in AnyLogic 9, it's completely different experience because you have a lot of helper lines, a lot of comfort with like point editing, etc., etc. So our measurements so far show that like tasks like this, like curve or polyline editing, are in AnyLogic 9 are already 2.5 times faster than in AnyLogic 8. All right. Now, the next slide is teamwork supports and other things, and I'll ask again Nikolay to tell you a little bit more about it.
So in AnyLogic 8 model project file, the model is stored in a single file in AnyLogic 8. In AnyLogic 9, we will split this model file into several small pieces, and this will reduce number of conflicts when several developers work on a single model together. And we will introduce Git support in AnyLogic, and will allow for better graphical conflict resolution. So you could see what part of your model was modified by your colleague, and could easily manage what the result could be in case of some complex branching of your development process. And also, this fits the requirement of some companies when there's no data stored on the developer's machine. This is the case when your AnyLogic is completely hosted on the server. And some continuous integration and delivery of your model. I mean here the deployment of your model into existing data or control pipeline of your organization or some line.
Thank you, Nikolay. So there's a number of other features, like a lot of improvement in scenario management. Actually, what will happen is that the cloud, you know, there is a different scenario management in AnyLogic Cloud already. So that will become the inherent part of AnyLogic 9. So we will be kind of moving towards more modern and more comfortable scenario management with more options, and it'll be cloud style. More freedom for library development, and will allow a licensing of third-party libraries. So if some of you guys will want to develop library as a product and then maybe offer it commercial as a product, there'll be mechanism for that, and some other improvements that you can see on this slide. This is probably most interesting slides because it shows how AnyLogic 9 is going to be looking like architecturally and from the point of view how it is installed, how it works. First of all, good old local laptop or desktop installation will still be available. So if you have your like Windows, Linux, or Mac machine, and if you want to have everything locally as you have now with AnyLogic 8, it'll still work. But also, in addition to that, we will allow for server or private cloud installation. So let's say you're a company and you have a corporate server or a corporate cloud, you will be available to install AnyLogic there. And so the backend part, the server part will install there. And then there'll be a number of options for your modelers and for your end users of the model. First of all, AnyLogic 9 will allow front-end only users who will work from clean browser, and that will they will comply with the no data on the client machine requirement, right? So AnyLogic 9, because it does have 100% web interface, it will allow for creating, editing, and running models using browser only. Then, obviously, for those people who travel, for those people who want to work in the offline, will be kind of full local installation option available temporarily or permanently, and obviously it will be the same as local only. And finally, because AnyLogic 9 will actually include AnyLogic Cloud, let's say AnyLogic execution environment, which now is available as the AnyLogic Cloud or private cloud, you will be able to have end users inside your organization, or if you want to open this interface outside, then outside, who will be able to access models stored in your on your server, on your corporate network, and run them, again, using the browser. And obviously, one of the biggest advantages of this architecture is that it is scalable. So let's say if you want to have more computing resources for running your backend, meaning compilers, code generators, everything that AnyLogic 8 does on your laptop or desktop. In AnyLogic 9, you will be able to add more nodes, more servers, or more nodes in your private cloud, and this solution will scale as much as you want. So that is about the kind of installation options and the architecture. And finally, we're actually concluding our overview. What's coming next? So what's coming next? And next is as soon as December this year, we will launch in AnyLogic Public Cloud. We will launch a prototype of AnyLogic 9. That prototype will have limited functionality, so it will be not the full AnyLogic 8, because it will just support one particular vertical. So we have chosen that vertical, and I'm not going to disclose which vertical it is right now, so I'll be kind of intrigued, so to keep you interested. And within that particular vertical, you will be able to do the full cycle from model creation to model editing, debugging and running from your browser, and the backend will run in the AnyLogic Cloud. In the beginning, with that prototype will only be available to a limited number of external test users. But as we will be progressing, we will be opening up to more and more people. So that's what's going to happen next. And with that, we're finished. And I would like to thanks everybody for listening.
Okay, so yes, we The first question is about extending the API for Monte Carlo and optimization experiments. I would say that we will definitely support Monte Carlo experiments. This is in our roadmap, one of the goals with the API. As for the optimization, I cannot tell you right now. I think we're working to find an alternative solution for the optimization algorithm, right? And as long as it's done, we'll have optimization support in the cloud.
What's the time frame approximately? Is this
With
year,
the
next year?
optimization?
Yeah, for Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo will be this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's yes, it is scheduled for this year.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thanks. And then.
Okay, the question is PathMind or Bonsai required for, or is there a generic API? So we will try to make our reinforcement learning experiment as much generic as possible, but currently we will have export to these platforms, and because these platforms are providing some learning features for training agents, learning agents, and in case you want to make your artificial AI agent by yourself, you could utilize, for example, some Python libraries and use coming Alpine library. I hope Arash will tell about pipeline library in the webinar.
In the webinar this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I can answer the next question, which is, will it be possible to transfer AnyLogic 8 models to AnyLogic 9? Of course, yes. Okay, yeah, so guys, yeah, I think we probably accidentally muted our mics. So again, it will be possible to open and continue editing your AnyLogic 8 models in AnyLogic 9, of course, yes. All right, so Nikolay, next question.
So I think the next question about problems with pipeline registration. Okay, I'll pass this to
thanks
developers.
Thanks for letting us know. Yeah, this is important.
Great news on Python scripting.
Cool.
I hope you are moving away from Eclipse as the development environment. Yes, we are.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Eclipse, guys, is completely out of date. It's going away, and we're moving to a much newer platform, of course. Yes.
Fantastic updates. Python UI. Okay. Do the professional and academic versions will be available to 8.5 users with active subscription? I think this is about our what does it mean subscription? We have a maintenance model where
you mean if you probably they talk about cloud subscription or it's so if you guys can a little bit expand your question, because that is currently not clear to us.
Debugging, yes, debugging will still work when working with AnyLogic 9 when the model would be run on some
backend located elsewhere, right? So the debugging mode will still be available, right?
Okay. It's already Rash has already answered about pipeline.
Yeah, about the editor. So we're not planning currently a full 3D editor, but what we'll be definitely doing in AnyLogic 9 is 3D scene preview as you edit 2D, right? So right now, to understand how the 3D scene will look like, you have to launch the model, which is obviously not really comfortable for 3D model developers. So what we will be adding in the first place in version 9 is kind of 3D static scene preview. That will be available right away. Mm-hmm.
POE, personal learning edition, access to the AI experiment features. These are this AI experiment, machine learning, reinforcement machine learning experiment. It will be available for export to Banzai from AnyLogic POE. Okay, and about extended optimization experiments, I actually don't know what this question is about.
So it will be possible to do all that programming that currently we can do in Java using Python.
Yes, it will. So we have a API of our runtime engine and libraries. So they are Java-based, and this API will be available from your Python language in AnyLogic 9, and you could also write your code on Python and use all these features like dynamic.
So full API, right? Full API, any Java method or object that is accessible from Java will be accessible and callable from Python, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There could be different data types and structures, but the API will be the same.
License. No, it's So there's a question to Arash. So I don't know, Arash, if you're online, maybe you can answer this. The art of process-centered modeling with AnyLogic. Okay. Any changes to licensing model? So far, I guess you guys are interested because with AnyLogic 9, it's obviously possible to do any type of licensing, including SaaS. But you guys, if you guys are interested, if good old like permanent license will go away, now we're not planning on switching to subscription only. No. So there will be certainly options on permanent licensing with maintenance and obviously subscription as well.